isn't it about time that you and Eric Bischoff and Kevin Nash and Hulk Hogan all band together and finally admit that the NWO was Greg Gagney's idea?
Yeah, it was. I haven't heard that one. Has Greg said that he did it?
I believe
Tell me.
Greg is like Forrest Gump in his own mind sometimes, that he seems to be everywhere important and he comes up with everything.
Did he say he created the NWO?
I don't have a
God,
quote or anything, but I think he's got some claim to legitimacy.
yeah, yeah.
In I mean, of the legitimate people who did sort of like form the NWO, I mean, there's Eric, of course. There's New Japan, where the original storyline was seen. Hall and Nash made it their own. Larry Zbyszko had a hand in it. I mean, percentage-wise, who deserves the most credit, maybe in like ascending or descending order of making the NWO what it was?
Eric, because he brought the idea over, but Nash and Hall, because they brought the pizzazz over. They made you believe that they were invading. I don't think, first of all, Nash and Hall are like Abbott and Costello, Laurel and Hardy, Lewis and Martin. You can't separate them. Kevin is, a very, very Renaissance man. We're talking about Renaissance man. He can talk about wine. He can talk about football. He's a big sports fan. He knows art. But Eric and those guys deserve 90% of it, I think.
Not to give you. Well, I'm going to afford you the chance to blow smoke up your own backside in a sense. But what did you bring to the NWO presentation that no one else did?
I think it was that I understood that this was right from the beginning when Nash and Hall, when Hall first came, then Kevin came. Was it the second week or third week? Wasn't there a week down?
Yeah, I think Scott Hall, week 2, talking about, and then week 3, he had a big surprise, something like that.
When I saw what they brought, and I said, boy, I'm going to get a lot of heat with these baby faces because this is never going to come again. And I'm going to get the napalm, and I'm going to get lighter fluid, I'm going to gasoline, and I'm going to gas this. And they're going to destroy the company until the baby faces make the comeback. It's just like it. Wrestling is the epitome of any good story. The babyface has to get beat up until the end. And then when Hogan went to turn heel, the people really bought it was the WWF against WCW. But my main thing was to keep the heat on them and created. Nash did something that I did on an interview with Steve Austin, and I never really thought of it that way, but he was right. Like, I would have a thing where one night I had the dungeon against the Horsemen in a 4-man tag, so there was 8 of us. They went over us, and when they left the ring, we were kind of hurt physically, supposedly. And they came down and wailed us, leave us laying. And then the Horsemen returned to save us. So people were saying, why would they do this? You know what I mean? And then the infamous one in Orlando, that was the only time I ever scripted anything. I scripted that whole thing where Nash spearing Ray against the trailer. People, if you remember, Jimmy Hart ran down, separated the match, and said they were invading. People actually were calling in to Disney and saying, send the police, send the police. The police showed up. And then the Randy Savage jumping on. People actually bought that, or at least suspended their disbelief for that moment in time. And I think keeping the heat on those guys was instrumental, because they had come in and there was a little bit of animosity to them because they were getting pushed and they were the opposition. And it took a lot of politicking for me on the baby faces to have them, or at least for me to appeal to their higher judgment that we got to do this because you got to make a comeback.